a perfect segue into our top 5 of the week, which is the top 5 closest title fights in the UFC.
Hey.
Kelvin, you're going to go first on this round. What do you got?
Absolutely. For my number 5, I got for closest title fights, Machida and Shogun Rua. You know, this was one of the closest title fights that I've ever seen. I mean, I actually thought Machida won in their first fight. But I remember watching this in my college dorm. Anyways, number 4, I remember Hughes and Trigg 2. I mean, these guys went at it. Frank Trigg almost had Matt Hughes in the rear naked choke, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Matt Hughes turns around, picks him up, drags him across the octagon, and chokes him out. I mean, it goes from one extreme to the other. It was amazing. And then number 3, I got John Jones and Alex Gustafson. Obviously, this was a real close fight. The first time John Jones ever been taken down. And I actually had Alexander Gustafson winning this fight. You know, I was training with him at Alliance for his camp. So I actually had him winning. Not that I was biased at the time. I had Edgar Maynard. Obviously, they fought to. No, Frankie beat Gray Maynard beat Frankie Edgar the first time they fought. The second time they fought for the title, and it ended up in one of the most controversial decisions in UFC history. It was a draw for a title fight. I mean, I don't know if that's ever happened before that fight. At number 1, Gsp Hendricks, one of the most controversial welterweight decisions. A lot of people believe Johnny Hendricks won that fight, but I had Gsp winning that 5th round and winning the fight in total.
That's a good list, man. I think at Qual Ono and BJ Penn, if my MMA nerddom serves me correct, was the first title fight, which was a draw. That was a little bit back. That was for 155 pounds, but that was a great. I didn't have that on my list. Edgar Maynard, too. Yeah. I don't think I had him. Well, we'll talk about it later. But Jones Gustafson, I definitely didn't have on my list. So that's a good one, man. Nice. All right, let's do this here. All right, number 5, Machida Shogun. I'm with you, man. I'm right there with you. It was an awesome fight, very close, very technical fight. I thought Machida won, but both these guys really brought it. Shogun landed a lot of leg kicks. Very, very close title fight. Number 4, Condit and Diaz. I remember being there for it and go, who won this fight? It was super close. Right. A lot of people think Nick won. A lot of people think Condit won. People still talk about this fight as a very controversial fight. So this one definitely needs to be on the list. Number 3, Frankie Edgar and BJ Penn won. This was the one that everyone was talking about. Another controversial title fight for 155 pounds. Frankie Edgar won this one. A lot of people thought BJ won. It was very, very close. But either way, Frankie Edgar won the next 2 decisively against BJ Penn, proving he was a better fighter. Now, number 2, Robbie Lawler and Carlos Condit. Guys, we were just talking about this fight. What a fight. Just a brilliant fight from both men. I thought the 3rd round determined it for Robbie Lawler, but geez, this was one of those, like you said, Kelvin, there's no loser in this fight. Yeah. Now, number 1, perhaps the most controversial UFC fight of all time, George St. Pierre against Johnny Hendricks. I think so many people wanted to see George finally lose that they were convinced that Johnny Hendricks won. Now listen, this was a very close fight, but like you, Calvin, we think a lot alike. I had GSP winning, but maybe I'm biased because I used to train with George. But I thought that he pulled it off. But another great fight there, and GSP retained his belt. Close one.
Good list, guys. It makes those are fights I'm reminded I want to go back and just watch because they're such good fights. Totally. All right, we're going to take a break. Coming up is our social media segment next. It's called Rapid Fire. You guys send in your questions to us at UFC_Now. Stick around to see if they got selected. We'll be right back.